All right, this is my set of Thanksgiving coloring cards, which are great for all kinds of things for young kids. You could use them for school parties, church events, mom and me groups, and of course at Thanksgiving. Give the little ones something to do while everyone's cooking or watching football. So I just want to show you really quick. Most of mine I have printed on a home printer, and that is going to look like this. It gives you the variation of line size and a more solid look, but you can also use your Cricut or your Silhouette and use the sketch pens. I used brown on this one, just, Thanksgiving, thought I'd try a different color. And you'll see how it makes outlines basically. So it outlines what is filled in on the printer. So it gives a little bit of a different look, but it's a great option if you like that look or don't have a printer on hand and just want to get it all done on your machine. So I'm going to show you how quick and easy it is to set up. I've included a score line. So if you want to fold them in half, you can put them in little plastic bags, or you can not use that score line and just have them flat. So this one I didn't score, so then you can put them in a little bit of a bigger bag or just leave them like that. You can also use or skip the to and the from. So this one doesn't have a to from. You could just have it in a basket, hand them out as is, but if you want it to be more of a gift, you can leave the to from. You can write that on there, or you can add it with your own fonts on your machine. So let's get started. Set up these Thanksgiving coloring cards, I'm going to show you how to print them on your home printer and then score and cut them on your Silhouette machine. So the first thing I've done is I've opened a new board, and I'm going to go to media size and letter and make sure it's set up as letter. It already was showing as letter because that's the last thing I used. Then I'm going to press M, or you can click on this button up here, registration, and click on, but faster to just press M. That's going to show these registration marks. If you're going to do a print and cut project where you're printing on your printer and then cutting with your machine, you have to have these marks so your machine can judge where everything is and knows where to cut and score if you're scoring. So we have that set up. Now I'm just going to drag two of these designs onto my mat. One thing I love about Silhouette is I can just keep stuff in a folder and drag on here what I want. So I have two on here. Now I'm going to drag over both. I'm going to right click and I'm going to ungroup. Now we're going to get this organized because we want it to do three things. We want to send stuff to the printer, we want to score, and we want to cut. So we're going to open the layers and we're going to create 3 new layers. So click the plus sign for a new layer, double click on there, and I'm going to call this one print or draw, because you can draw these on with pens in your Silhouette, but I'm going to print it on my printer. So now I'm going to select everything that would be drawn. So the art, the to, and the from. Now you can see where it says designs. You're going to click the plus so that you can see the individual things. So you're going to pull those up, and now we have 4 things that say polygon, which really means nothing. So I'm going to click off of here, and I want to label these just so I know what's what. So I clicked on the turkey. I'm going to double click here. I'm going to label that. So I'm going to label each of these layers. It's just easier if you ever come back in. And it's going to be easier when we get to the end part. Okay, so all of my print and draw are labeled, and now I'm going to just double check that everything that I'm going to print or draw is in that layer. So I'm going to click the eyeball and make sure the only thing that disappears are the printed parts. Now you can click this minus so it compresses, so you can have more things. So we're going to turn that off. Now I'm going to do another new layer, and I'm going to call this one score. I'm going to bring this below the print layer because we want to be able to make sure we want to be able to see it. So now we're going to click on these little blue lines. So there's the center lines if you wanted to fold this in half. You don't have to. If you don't want to fold it in half, you can just delete those. I tried to make these files really flexible for you, and then you're going to click the ones that are going to fold the little crayon holder up. And you're going to do the same thing, click the plus, and you're going to drag those layers up into score. And then turn off the eyeball and make sure only the score lines disappear. Now I'm going to do the third, which is going to be the cut layer, which is basically everything else. But for it to work easily when we send it, we can't just leave everything down here. We just still want to grab everything that's left and put it up in this cut layer. So we have the cut layer, score layer, print and draw layer. And then this one has nothing in it anymore because we moved everything. So you can highlight that and click the negative. So now we have that all set to go. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to only have the print layer showing, and I'm going to do Control P, make all my selections for my printer, and send it to the printer. Now, once that's printed, we're going to put it on the mat, and then I'm going to hide the print layer, and I'm going to show the score and the cut layer, and I'm going to go up here and click Send. We want to choose, we don't want simple because that's just going to cut everything. We want to choose layers because we just spent all that time setting up the layers, and you can see here are the 3 layers with everything in them. So we're going to untick print and draw because we already did that. We want that ignored. We're going to move score above cut. Come on. There we go. Because I like to have my machine do the scoring first and then the cutting, just because that score line goes very close to the cut line. Now we need to make sure the action says score just like the layer does. So we're going to choose score. And then down here, we're going to double check the action says score. And then this is really important. It automatically gives you a force of 15, which is going to be too much for cardstock. So you want to change that to 1. And then that is going to be ready to go. And then the cut is ready to go. So once you get that set up, you're just going to click Send, and it is going to cut, it's going to score and cut your cards. To print and score and cut, you're going to do the layers just like we did, but when you click Send, you're going to do something a little bit different. So let me just show you how that works. So I click Send and I have it on the layer mode, and now I'm going to have all 3 of these ticked. So print and draw, we're going to move that to the top because we want it to do that first. And I'm going to click tool number 2. Your pen has to go in the second tool slot, and your cutter score, like your auto blade, needs to be in the red slot, the first slot. So we're going to click the second slot for print and draw, and then we're going to click Action, Sketch. And now you're going to notice that it does something to the image. Because it's a thin pen and it doesn't really draw, it can't do shading, it can't do varied thicknesses of lines like the image has that you can do on your printer. It outlines it, so it's going to do this double line effect, which I'll show you when it is printed. We're going to have it sketch first, and then you want score to be the next layer because you want that done before it cuts, and you're going to make sure the action over here says score. You want to make sure you change the force to 1. It will automatically say 15. That's way too hard. You want it to be 1 for the fold lines, and then cut. That'll work fine. So it's all set. Triple check before you click Send that you're going to sketch with the pen tool, which is in the second section. Then it's going to score, and then it's going to cut. Now all you need to do is add crayons. So this one I scored so that it will fold. So it kind of looks like a card. The crayons will be on the back. You can put it in a cute little envelope or a cellophane bag. And then there are also fold lines that make it really easy to pop the crayon holder part up. And then what you're going to do is you're just going to take the crayon and put it through the holes. I recommend putting your hand to kind of support that as it goes. I have made them a little bit bigger by popular demand. They used to be a little snugger fit and it was frustrating some people, but it does hold better. So if you have a problem with it slipping like that, what you're going to do is once you put it in, push those as far as they'll go out, and then it's nice and snug. All right, so that's it. Now all you need to do is get to work. I have lots of other themes if you were looking for other holidays or general dinosaurs, unicorns, things like that. And if there's anything you're looking for that you don't see, you can feel free to shoot me a message and I will see what I can do.